Hi, San Diego magician Tom Interval here. Today I would like to teach you the ribbon spread turnover. The ribbon spread turnover has been around for who knows how long. You might have seen an actor or actress do it in a movie. I believe Paul Newman did it in 1973 in The Sting. Really cool movie. So the ribbon spread turnover, you can do it really well, but you have to learn a few preliminary things. For example, if you don't handle playing cards that often, I recommend first just playing around with a deck of cards. Learn to shuffle, cut, deal cards to the table, and so forth. This will get your hands used to the cards. Remember, before you do any card trick or card flourish, it's a lot easier if your hands already are familiar with a deck of cards. If your brain already is used to handling cards, get some muscle memory going and get to know your deck of cards. So the first thing, the foundation of doing the ribbon spread turnover, is learning how to spread the cards on the table. That's called a ribbon spread. Now, I will have close-up shots, but let's start just to give you an overview, and then we'll get into the close-up how-tos, okay? So in order to do the ribbon spread, you hold the deck of cards from above. Now the deck is face down. Your thumb is on the inner short edge, and your first, second, and third fingers are on the outer short edge. Your pinky kind of hangs out. Now what you want to do to spread the cards, and again I'll give you a close-up in a minute, is your first finger, instead of staying on that outer short edge, the first finger rests on the corner right there. I hope you can see that, but again, I'll zoom in a moment. This serves to regulate spreading the cards, right? So you can spread cards in different ways. One way is you can just sort of play it loosey-goosey, as they say. That looks terrible. So if you're holding it correctly from above, this generally is called a biddle grip, B-I-D-D-L-E, biddle grip. And your finger is on this corner. That means that you can regulate how even the spread is, right? And I'll show you how much control this gives you. If I spread a deck of cards really, really thin or thinly, and then thicker on the end, it would look like this. So there's sort of a block, right? Now, we'll talk about the turnover in a minute, but this wouldn't work too well with a turnover. Now, the opposite is I could spread the cards too thick at the beginning and then have it too thin on the right side at the end. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay? So these are not the way to spread the deck. What your finger allows you to do when it's on that corner, you basically hold the deck as I told you, and you push the deck from above. You never really let go of the deck, but you kind of push it toward the table. All right? Then you put enough pressure, don't break the table in half, but you press hard enough, and this is sort of a trial and error thing. Right? And you learn to spread it evenly. Now let me give you a tip. Honestly, you just have to sit and do it hundreds of times before you can do it without thinking about it. Once again, this is called muscle memory. Just sit there over and over and over. Now, when I was at my grandmother's house on my mother's side, and we'd go over there, and my mother and my grandmother would watch Lawrence Welk. This was a long time ago. And I remember sitting on my grandmother's carpet or floor in the living room in front of the TV, and I used to just practice spreading cards over and over and over again. I had the whole carpet, so you can do that too, but if you have a close-up pad, a lot easier to spread cards. A close-up pad, if you don't already know what it is, it's a rubber-backed, felt-topped mat made just for magicians. It's like a big mouse pad. Get one. The bigger the pad, the better, just to practice your spreads. So another tip I have for you is you'll see people spreading cards this way, which is sort of parallel to the close-up mat horizontally. And actually that works fine too, right? But what you want to do is, if you want to practice and you want to have more spreading space, spread from the upper left to the lower right. That allows you to practice spreading farther. So again, we'll have some close-ups, but hold the deck in biddle grip like I showed you. Your forefinger is on that corner. You put the deck on the table. Your thumb is touching, the tip of your thumb is touching the deck. Okay? By the way, there's about this much space, maybe a ½ inch, from the tip of your thumb to the bottom of the deck. And the same is true with these fingers. So the deck is not like this, obviously, and it's not too far down like this. It's about like this. Okay? Finger on that corner, you're going to press down without letting go of the deck. And then again, this is sort of trial and error. Just try to start spreading, and remember, this finger, this first finger, will actually help you regulate how even the spread is. And so as you push down, you'll feel the spread. Now, I did it slower, so it didn't turn out as well. But remember, only trial and error will teach you this. And if you do this hundreds of times per day, trust me, you'll learn to ribbon spread a deck really well. Excuse me. Now, the next step, once you learn to spread the deck, don't try the turnover until you spread the deck really well. The next step in spreading cards, in doing the ribbon spread turnover, is the ribbon spread turnover, the turnover part. So once you learn to spread the deck, here's how you turn it over. Once again, we'll have close-ups. Your thumb, now in my case, my left thumb, this is from my point of view. If you're left-handed, maybe you'll reverse it. But my left thumb pushes down on this side of the deck. My left fingertips reach under this side of the deck. Now remember, not the side of the deck where you can see the whole top card, but the other end. Your right fingers lift up, and now your thumb moves away, right? So in order to do the ribbon spread turnover, remember what I did was I used sort of a single card. Don't start that way, all right? You're going to just use your hand to turn over the card. That's the first step in learning this. So your thumb pushes down, your fingers lift up, and then watch what I do. My palm is down, my left hand palm down, right? Palm down. And your hand is sort of diagonally across the top. I could let go almost once it's in the middle, right? So the best way is don't do this for now with one finger, but have your whole hand on top. And you'll kind of get that, you'll get the feel for it, all right? And so once your hand is on top, you'll have total control. So your thumb pushes down, your fingers lift up, your thumb moves away. And now start turning over the deck without losing contact. Okay, your fingers never lose contact. You go all the way to your right, stop, freeze. Let everyone see how beautiful this pattern is. Don't rush it. Then go back all the way, and then watch what happens when you get to the end. Your left fingers kind of let the deck drop on them. Now you're in the position to scoop. S-C-O-O-P, to scoop it up. So now all your left hand has to do is go from left to right, and you've just scooped up the deck. Now the normal speed would look like this. At normal speed. Right? So I'll do that one more time. Normal speed with just your hand. Right? See how that works? Beautiful, right? Now there's an alternate way of doing this as well. When you spread, instead of, well, you start the same way. Your thumb's here, you lift up, your thumb moves away. Instead of doing this stopping and going back, you can actually go all the way and your right hand is palm up, waiting for the cards to fall on them. So now that your hand is in position, it's basically what you did on the other side. You just scoop up like that. So the normal speed would look like this. Now in that case, it's a little faster. So what I recommend is sort of stop so they can see how pretty it is, and then let them fall on your hand, and then scoop up. Pretty cool, right? This is the basic ribbon spread turnover. And then once you get familiar with that, remember, guys, now you can do whatever you want, but I think it's sort of not as professional looking when you do it halfway and then you keep going back and forth. I don't think that looks as professional, and what happens is the integrity of the structure of the turnover fails. So watch what happens. See how it already split? So now, if you keep doing that, it'll just keep splitting like that. And now it kind of messes it up. But even if you only do it once or twice, in my opinion, it doesn't look quite as professional as just doing it once and then finishing like that. Or as I showed you earlier, stop, show how nice the pattern is, go back. Don't forget, your fingers always have to have the deck fall on them. That way you can easily scoop up, whether you do it the way I just showed you or the way you do it this way. And by the way, I have a hint. I have the convenience of having a desk right next to my table, but if you're at a table and you spread the deck too far this way, on the right-hand side, on your right, sometimes if you forget and you go too far, oh my gosh, look, it could fall off the table, this end. So what I do is, to avoid that, is when you do the ribbon spread turnover initially, stop short, maybe, 6-7 inches short of the table edge. That way you'll be less likely. What I also do is I put my hand here. I don't go like this necessarily, but I do have my hand here so it acts as a block. So therefore, if you accidentally, at least this hand prevents the cards from falling off the table. Hopefully that makes sense. So the only other thing that I'll show you in this particular video, because there are other things you can do with the ribbon spread turnover, what I do want to mention in this video also is turning the cards over with a single card instead of your hand. So you'd spread the deck. Your left hand starts the same way. All right? You put your thumb down, and you also pick up these cards, and your left thumb lets go. But instead of using your hand to turn over the deck, your left hand, which kind of has a natural adhesion on the fingertips, unless your hands are super dry, you'll notice when my left hand moves to the left, look how the bottom card comes out. But before it comes out all the way, your left hand kind of moves counterclockwise. Once again, I'll have close-ups. And when it's almost maybe like a 45-degree angle to the rest of the deck, your thumb pushes down from the top, and you use that card, right, like this, and watch what I do. I turn the face of the card toward the audience as the lower long edge of that one card touches the top of the cards that are beginning to turn over. Now you have more control than you think. Then you continue moving to your right. You stop, let them see how pretty it is. Go back to the left. Now watch, at the end, this is a little tricky. At the very end, you reverse all your actions. So in other words, my left hand sort of catches the deck on that single card. And now look, you're in position to do the scoop. So you scoop up the deck. So at normal speed, it would look like this. Pretty neat, right? So let's get into the close-up shots. This way it'll help you from my point of view, from your point of view, I should say. It'll help you understand even better. So here's the grip for ribbon spreading the cards. My thumb is at the inner short edge. You'll notice my ring and middle fingers are out here at the outer short edge. And you know that part I was telling you about with my first finger, this is the corner I'm talking about. So let me get close. Hopefully the camera will stay in focus. Look at this. See this corner? So your first finger is right here. And so it's not just on the corner when you're spreading. Of course, it'll be along the left edge of the deck, but that's how you regulate it. So in other words, when you're spreading the cards, this finger helps to regulate the evenness of how you spread the deck. So again, this is how you hold. This is the proper way of holding it. From your point of view, you're going to hold the deck with your palm down hand, with your thumb on the inner short edge, your ring and middle fingers on the outer short edge, and your first finger on this corner. And you push down without letting go of the deck. You push down nice and firmly. Your first finger should be pressuring that corner right here. And then you push down and again, it's a knack. You have to practice spreading the cards evenly. Okay, so that's how to spread, the ribbon spread. Let me do that again. The ribbon spread is as follows. You push down, applying pressure with the first finger on that corner, right here. And you're going to regulate how even the cards spread, how evenly they spread, by also putting a little pressure on the left edge. That's if you're right-handed. Now watch. See how nice that is? So that is the ribbon spread. I can see literally every single card if I cheat. Generally, you can see every single card. One more time. Finger on that corner, pushing down firmly, spreading from left to right. Now, for the turnover, after you spread the deck, your left hand puts its thumb on top of the deck right around here on this side. Not this side, but this side. And basically, your thumb will be there only for as long as necessary for these fingers to reach underneath the deck and get in position for the scoop. So do that. Turn over the deck. Well, not the scoop. Turn over your hand. Feel your hand on the top edge as it goes all the way to the right. Stop right about there so everyone from the front can see how nice the pattern is. Then go back. And then don't forget, now, of course, the scoop, where your fingers go underneath the cards, where they can scoop from left to right. So again, at normal speed, it looks like this. Okay. Now, the other way of doing it, after you spread the deck, again, work on the ribbon spread. Don't even try the other part, the turnover, until you can spread the cards. Okay. So now, the other way to do it is the same way you get started here. Now, as your left hand is on the top edges, your right hand kind of rests over here, palm up. See how the fingers are palm up? So by the time your left hand gets to the right edge, you just let the cards fall into the right hand. And then you're in that scooping position. Come over and you scoop the deck. So again, at full speed, it looks like this. Okay. And again, if you want to pause before you do the scoop, pause so everyone can see how pretty it is, and then let the cards fall into the hand like that. Okay, so remember, work on your spread first, Then start working on the turnovers. Now again, the single card turnover, instead of just putting your thumb here and then leaving your hand on top of the edge, on the top edge, your thumb pushes down, your fingers do this, but remember what I said about that natural adhesion? See how the bottom card sort of adheres to the tips of your fingers? So use that and turn that card about 45 degrees. Your thumb goes on top of that card and pinches it. Then your left hand kind of moves in a clockwise position as it starts to turn over the cards, but watch what happens. The lower long edge of the single card kind of catches the top edge of the deck here, and just practice, you'll see that you will have control. Go all the way to the right, stop, let them see how pretty it is, go all the way back to the left. And then when you get to the very left edge, watch, you reverse your actions, you let that single card catch the deck, and then you're in scoop position, scoop from left to right, and you're done. Okay? So at full speed, it should look something like this. And then one thing that I didn't mention yet, I'll give you a little tip. Excuse me. When you actually have the card on the top of the edge, what I do is, I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of bend the card, I push in a little so it bows, and that gives me a little more control, as opposed to just holding the card so it's perfectly straight. Okay? So that's another little hint as well.
Thanks for watching and or listening to this interval of magic. If you enjoyed it and want to see more like it, along with a variety of other great magic-related content, please help support my work in one of two ways. Follow and endorse me on rockfin.com/intervalmagic or become a Patreon patron at patreon.com/tominterval. Also, please like and share this, subscribe to my Interval Magic YouTube channel, and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Interval Magic. Until then, may your intervals be happy, peaceful, and magical.